Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aiko, and in the next few episodes, I'm going to be chatting with singles to find out what the season has been like for them. Are they thriving? Are they struggling? And also if they have any nuggets on dating. So subscribe to the channel, and I really do hope you enjoy the next episodes.
My name is Lushomo, and today we are going to be discussing the topic of singleness.
Hey Lush!
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for dropping by. I've been looking for you forever.
Have you? Really?
Yes. I had to have Lush come on at some point. But what would we talk about? And then when the singleness thing hit the world thing, I was like, yay, Lush! This is a good one for Lush. This is a good one for Lush because I'm always in your base. In a good way though.
In the best way, absolutely. In the best way.
Fantastic. So, Lush, you are single. Is that a yes or is that a no?
Just that is a big yes.
Big yes?
Yes.
120% yes.
In the best way, yes, I am single.
So tell me, what does the season of singleness mean to you?
Well, first of all, I think season of singleness is just not being married. If we are to be as clear as that, it's not being married. And season as well is more of really just, I guess, getting to know me by myself, or who God thinks I am in this season. And it's really, it's interesting. Some of the things you end up unpacking and finding out, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, or this is something that I'm quite happy I'm now aware of. So that's what, the season of singleness looks like.
Got you. So let's clarify this. So being single is not being married, but if you're not married, you could still be doing loads of things. You could be dating, you could be talking to someone. There's a lot of nuanced things inside there that non-married people would be doing. So would you consider being single, talking to someone, maybe going on dates, maybe being on a dating site? Does that fall under singleness as well for you? Does it?
Well, for me personally, in some respect, yes. However, singleness, bottom line is not being married. And yes, in the season of singleness, you date. Some people go on dating websites. Personally, not for me. But for everyone else, if that works, then that's fantastic. And there are dates occasionally. There's a getting to know someone as well. I think it's a lot of gray. See, between being single and being married, it's just a big gray area before you get.
I feel you on that one. I feel you on that one. So what are you doing with yourself in your single season?
So I think single season honestly has been a period of really unpacking. I don't like the word baggage, but let's say baggage. I think baggage is the best word. Unpacking a lot of that in, I guess, preparation as well. Not necessarily thinking I'm getting married tomorrow, but more or less of everything that I'm doing in this season is helping me to be that partner to
someone,
prospective husband, whenever he comes. So that's what this season's been. It's really been a lot of counseling here and there, spending time by myself. And just really enjoying being alone. Like, I think that is so important. I don't know. I think often we're too much in a rush of, hey, we need to get to this next stage. Actually, just being present in this season is so vital in itself. So, I'm getting to learn from married couples, from people that are dating, people that are doing it really well. So it's nice to just observe from the backseat, not necessarily be that person there. It's fun. It's been fun so far.
You are a busy single.
I am a busy single.
I like that. You're not just sitting there waiting, watching the rain falling on your window drops when you're busy, getting to know yourself, sitting with other people who are married and in healthy relationships. That's dope. That is really, really, really dope. So what is not so great about being single? You've talked about how, you're busy, it's fruitful, but there are those moments when it's almost like, when is this going to happen? Or if that's something that you go through. Or those moments when you just feel like, do you get those moments, first of all, when you think to yourself, it would be nice if I did have someone around me? Do those moments come for you?
I think it's completely human that we go through waves of, actually, I would love to be with somebody right now, or, it would be nice to be married. But I think the flip side of that, though, is almost the pressure that comes with being single. And I feel like people unintentionally do this. I was thinking, like, I was reflecting yesterday. I was like, what are the downsides to being single? And I remember I had just graduated from undergrad. And I remember having a conversation with someone. They were like, congratulations, we're so proud of you. We're so happy. We now need to start looking for a husband. And I remember thinking, what?
Oh!
And see, yeah, so it's that thing almost of, not that people realize they're doing it, but it often makes you feel like maybe something's missing from me because I'm not married yet. And yeah, it's been a fun journey. I think especially being this current age, where it seems like a lot of things are in their place. So we're often like, actually, there's just that one thing it's not quite there, and you've got the full package. So yeah, it's often trying to push that pressure away and being like, actually, guys, it's okay, it's fine, no rush. It's gonna happen when it happens.
Do you think that's something that especially African singles go through? But I realized a lot of pressure comes from the culture as well. After like a certain point, people are like, well, what's happening? Is this not a priority for you? Is that external pressure?
So I think I've been really fortunate in the sense of, like, my parents are not wired that way. It's never been the thing of, oh, you're at that age now, you should really be thinking of settling down. Like, for them, it's always just been like education first. Like, let's make sure that you as a person are good. Before we start mixing with like other people. So.
Let's get that bride price right. I'm joking.
Like, it's also been the same like with extended family. I think it's never been the case that marriage is the thing they'll push first. I think for us, it's always been education and just being strong alone first. I think the pressures come often sometimes like friends, I think also being in church, like where we see really like marriages that are thriving. So that I think often it comes from there. But again, it's never from a bad place. It's simply, we're happy, so we want to see you thriving in a season like this as well.
Just a little nudge. Hey, think about this.
It's like, oh, have you seen this person? Like, you guys would be.
I am guilty of that, I have to admit. I am a matchmaker in my mind. But anyway, let's not talk about that on the world of well-being. Let's not. So did you think you would be single at this point in your life?
That is also another good question. So when I was 7, I thought I'd be married by 22 with a family.
What? Hang on. Why? Why 22? Explain the frame.
I don't know why. I think it's a mixture of, like, my mom had me when she was 23, but by then she was settled, working full time, like own place. So I think that's where in my head I was like, 22, 23, I'm going to be married and settled. However, I think at 18 and even at 22, I was like, actually, I'm happy I'm not married yet. Like, it's a lot of responsibility, and I just want 22 is not it. So to answer that question, yes and no. But no, I'm happy. happy.
I like the 22 number because at 22 I felt like a baby.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like,
I started out here married. What?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how our parents did it, but kudos to them, because I think it's honestly as well, it's a different generation, the way we're living and the way they're living. So the expectations are very, very different.
Yeah. My mom had 4 of us by the time she was 30. I'm like, wait, what? Cannot relate. Obviously now being in my early 30s and no kids. I'm like, wait, you did that? You pushed? Anyway.
I think with lockdown, I've been fortunate enough that I'm still living at home, so I've got my family. And in that sense, I think some aspects of like relationship have been covered. Like I've had my needs covered here at home. So I mean, there are the occasional, it would be nice if there's someone that I could send a message to or tell something about my day and like rant to someone or something like that. But again, it's always been passing. It's never been I'm fully stuck in this, like, I need this to happen. Like, don't get me wrong, occasionally there are some days I'm like, God, actually today would be a great day. But no, aside of that, I think lockdown for me has been good. Like, I've really enjoyed it in the sense of just like I really realized, especially over lockdown, how much I like my own space and I like being alone. So I'm like, yeah, it's quite cool.
I do this a lot longer. Got you. So in the next segment, we're going to talk about a possible, if you were to transition into not being anymore. Let's help the guys out a little. So if someone were to pick Lushomo's interest, what would he be like? What do you look for in a guy?
Not a hard question, but
a
few things. I'm saying it's not a hard question because I sat down and recently did the exercise myself. I'm like, okay, what exactly?
Yeah.
I think obviously first one being that they love God and it's very evident in their life that that's the case.
What does evidence look like? Listen, I'm out here digging. What does evidence of loving God look like?
Evidence, I think,
on a mission trip to Africa, in which case they are not in the UK. It could mean, what does evidence look like to you?
Evidence looks like serving in church. I think that's the best place you can see someone's character and find out from other people who and what they're like. I think kindness is another one. It's a big one. How they treat people around them was again evidence of character. I think also just being funny. I like a funny person.
Laughter is a hobby for me. So
exactly. Yeah. I think like I'm quite a serious person most of the time, so I'm like I need someone at least that I can bounce off.
You bring the jokes, I'll bring the serious.
And I'll just laugh. Like I'll supply the laughter. Okay. But yeah, and empathy. I think empathy is a big one. You need to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Got you. So, how would someone who had all these qualities approach Lushomo?
Oh man, I feel so on the spot.
Listen, we came to have a conversation. Would they slide in the DM? Would they find your number from a friend? Should they approach you at church? Should they stalk you? How?
No stalking, please.
What's a great way to approach Lushomo?
I think just be direct. Like directness. So nice and it's so refreshing. We're not playing games, your intentions are clear as well. So I'm very much a fan of just being direct. That's just directness is my answer. So
directness is, hey, would you like to go for a cup of coffee? Would you like to hit Starbucks or go for a walk? Just come up to me and say, hey.
Yeah, just do that and we'll see where it goes from there.
Ooh. The next question I have for you is, what is an ideal first date?
Ideal first date. I don't know. In lockdown, that's completely changed.
Forget lockdown. Listen, we're coming out of lockdown.
Okay, we're out of lockdown.
Next month, according to my prayer schedule. And then, okay, so what would be your ideal first date in a non-COVID world? Where would you like to go? What would you like to do?
Something where okay, so something fun. So like crazy golf or something, because we can talk and walk and not necessarily be in just that one place. Yeah. But even a coffee as well is nice. I'm not too fussy. Just as long as you can pick a place, arrange everything. That's okay for a first date.
You do all the arranging. Got you. So you're not into all this, let's go bowling. You want to have a chat.
I would love bowling. Like I'm genuinely not opposed to bowling. I guess it just depends.
Hey, remember first date.
I feel like a first date should not be too heavy in the sense of we're getting to know one another. So it should be, what's the word?
Relaxed.
Sure. Yeah, relaxed a bit. Yeah, not too, because obviously you're already nervous to begin with, and the pressure's already heavy enough. So something relaxed, we get to know one another, without the obviously added pressure as well.
Okay. What is the best thing about going out on a first date?
I think it really, especially if you're transitioning from texting one another. Okay. To then seeing in person, it really gives you an idea of who the person is. Okay. I'm a very big fan of just being able to like observe a person, so I can pick up like body language and stuff. I think that's the beauty. Yeah, body language is great.
Yes.
But yeah, it's nice to just really see a person, and I think as well there's a confidence that texting gives people, and I think it just makes you more human when you sit across from that person and it's like, oh, actually, yeah, this person's just as nervous as I am, and you know, we're here regardless. So I think that's the beauty of like dates. The downside or bad side to it, I don't know, if you're not like vibing with the person, then that's the part where you're like, oh, okay.
Not happening. This is the last one. I don't want to see you again. But how would you navigate that?
So how would you navigate it in the sense of having that conversation? I guess, what would be the best way? I think it's being upfront with one another. So giving each other what your expectations are of your time being spent together, and then from there, you know, it's like, okay, by the end of the first day or maybe a few dates from now, we can see where we're going from here. So I think that's how you navigate that. If you explain what your expectations are, what's going on, and which is what I mean in the sense of if someone's intentional, you know what period or what stage of the getting to know one another that you're at. So that's how you do it.
If the person is not for you, or you decide I do not want to be hanging out on this level anymore, you'd say something like what? Like, how would you decide this person is not for me?
I would say something along the lines of, thank you so much, firstly, for, you know, taking the time out to get to know me. I think one of my things is I never take for granted someone giving me their time, even if, you know, we don't work out. Like, I think it's so admirable when someone puts themselves out like there. So I think the first thing I would say is, you know, it's that, thank you for this. And, you know, unfortunately at this time, it's not something that I see going forward, but I appreciate that you've given me this time. And, you know, who knows? You never know as well what the future holds. But that's my philosophy always. I think I'm really grateful if someone is like, hey, I've expressed my interest, but it's not working out.
Yeah, I agree. It takes a lot of courage for someone to say, listen, let's go hang out. And then there's also the thing about we're actually family. We're like brothers and sisters in Christ. Yeah. So we need to treat each other as such. You know, always be thoughtful of another person's feelings. So it's not in a way that means, you know, I still love you, just not in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I had recently watched something, and this guy was like, as someone, especially as Christians, when we're dating, we should always leave the person better than when we started together. Yeah. And I was thinking, wow, that's a really fantastic way to make sure that we are honoring one another with the time that we're giving each other. You know, it's not to slander someone if it doesn't work out or be mad. It's just being like, actually, yeah, thank you. We've taken the time out. We've checked if this works. It doesn't work, and that's okay.
Yeah, we can be friends.
So I think honestly, it's so important that we break down the stereotype of no being a bad thing. I don't think someone saying no to you is like the end of the world. If anything, it's a redirection. Yeah. So a no is a good thing. If someone says no, yes, it might sting in the moment. We're human, you feel things, but I don't think it's ever a bad thing that someone would say no. If anything, just say thank you, cool. Thank you for being honest with me. Yeah. And we keep it moving, you know? So I think it's really, really important that we ride that wave and not. It's nothing to do with you. If someone says no, most of the time, I don't ever think it's necessarily on you. It's just you're not that good for them. And
that's fine. Yeah. So here's a question for you, Lushomo. You're out on a date. You've had a blast. It's time to get the bill, or you are coming in to get the coffee. Who pays for the first date?
So I think personally for me, whoever asks should pay for the first date. So if I ask, then I'm happy to pay for that date. And if the guy asks, then he can pay. I think after that, then you split the bill as well. But yeah, that's just my perspective. I'm not too sure many people agree.
You said if you ask, then you'd pay for the first date. Have you ever asked a guy out on a date?
I wouldn't say directly, but I have been like, I have, what's the word? Hinted?
Lushomo, have you been out here DMs?
I mean, I have given hints and been like, oh, why not let's hang out today or let's do this. So not directly being like, hey, this is a date, but more or less setting the scene.
Setting the scene. And in that case, you thought to yourself, listen, I should pay for this since I hinted, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
I like your game plan there, Lushomo. Okay. So whoever initiates has the burden, should have the burden.
Yeah, for the first one, absolutely. And then I think after that, you can decide how you do it. But yeah.
It's always a coffee anyway. A coffee. I like a
exactly. Coffee is not that big.
Exactly. I feel like ice cream actually. So I don't like coffee. I mean, I never go out and pay for tea. So first is always going to be like a McFlurry or a tea. So yeah,
there's something light and heavy. It doesn't have to be too no pressure added.
What would you say to singles out there in terms of thriving? What should they be doing with their singles season?
I think your single season should really be a time to really focus on yourself. And it sounds selfish in that respect, but it's so important that you learn about yourself, especially in different situations, different scenarios, because I think, once you meet your person, that changes because you're not just thinking about yourself, you're also thinking about the other person as well. So I think it's so important in this season that, get your house tidy. I think that's a nice way to say it. Get your bearings in order, but not with necessarily the expectation of the other person. It's all for you first. Because I think if you can get that sorted, it helps with whatever relationship will bring as well. So it's very important that you spend the time with you, God, and other things that he's unpacking or showing you as well.
I see you. If I see anyone who ticks all these boxes, okay, I am sending them your way.
I look forward
to bringing you their way. I'll decide which ones which I'll be doing.